Good morning, everyone. I am pleased to be here today with members of our Curriculum Advisory Panel to release our new Ministerial Order on Student Learning and to provide an update on next steps for curriculum development. Today, I am joined by the Chair of our Curriculum Advisory Panel, Angus Macbeth, a former Superintendent of Edmonton Public Schools and a lifelong teacher who has been in more than 7,500 classrooms throughout his career, and by Dr. Nung Tran Davies, a medical doctor and fierce mathematics advocate. Thank you both for being here with me today. Thank you. Thank you. During the election, we made a very clear commitment to Albertans to pause the NDP's curriculum review and broaden consultations so that they could be more open and transparent, including a wider range of perspectives from parents, teachers, and subject matter experts. Through the work of the Curriculum Advisory Panel and through subsequent public engagement on the draft ministerial order that they developed, I am very pleased to say, promise made, promise kept. In our platform, we also committed to ending the focus on so-called discovery or inquiry learning, also known as constructivism, by repealing the 2013 Ministerial Order on Student Learning and replacing it with one that focuses on teaching essential knowledge to help students develop foundational competencies. The work done by Angus, Nung, and the rest of the Curriculum Advisory Panel started the process of honoring that campaign commitment. We took their draft vision and we gathered input directly from roughly 8,500 Albertans and education stakeholders. This feedback, combined with the draft ministerial order the panel developed, helped finalize our new vision for student learning, which I was pleased to sign off on this morning. Again, this is another promise made and another promise kept. Before I move on, I just want to thank Dr. Tran Davies for her advocacy on this important issue. She has been a tireless advocate on moving forward to an evidence-based practice, placing a focus on strengthening basic knowledge and skills, and shifting away from a focus on constructivism. She has been as I said, just tireless in this area. So thank you, Nung, for your hard work and unwavering dedication to this topic. You've been an inspiration. Thank you. We now have a new ministerial order on student learning that no longer focuses on constructivist approaches to learning. Instead, the new ministerial order will give students a foundation of literacy and numeracy and a knowledge of the rich and diverse history of Alberta and Canada. It emphasizes civic virtues, core knowledge, and the outcomes students need to succeed both in school and throughout life. Under this new ministerial order, education in Alberta will promote the acquisition of skills and the pursuit of knowledge with wisdom, while valuing equality of opportunity, parental responsibility, personal responsibility and excellence, and respect for difference, and the inherent dignity of each individual. Our students will explore life opportunities that develop their unique talents and potential, provide a sense of purpose and belonging, and affirm the dignity of work. They will become lifelong learners who will cultivate the virtues of wisdom, courage, self-control, justice, charity, and hope. Ultimately, this new ministerial order is a return to proven teaching methods that will set up Alberta students for rich personal and work lives. This new ministerial order is the cornerstone for future curriculum development. It has set us on a path to update and strengthen our K-12 curriculum and has charted the course for us to honor the remainder of our curriculum campaign commitments to Albertans. With this ministerial order in place, we will immediately get to work on reforming new curriculum that falls in line with this new vision and fulfills the expectations of Albertans. As we committed to during the election, Alberta's future curriculum will focus on developing foundational competencies. It will include a social studies curriculum that is taught without political bias, offering an objective understanding of Albertan, Canadian, and world history, geography, and civic literacy. It will have financial literacy as a mandatory element woven throughout the entire curriculum, and it will teach consent as an essential part of the health and wellness curriculum. As well, it will be created through a reform process that begins by determining the key knowledge and skills Alberta students should possess by the time of their high school graduation. It is time for Albertans to have a curriculum that focuses on the fundamentals of literacy, numeracy, and core knowledge. And I am pleased to say that our government is getting this work done. In addition to Angus and Nung, I would also like to thank the remaining Curriculum Advisory Panel members who are not with us today. I want to thank Jen Panteluk, Amy von Henking, Martin Masrick, Andy Nagel, Carrie Henke, Glenn Feltham, Paulette Hanna, Miles Smith, Sharon Carey, and Ashley Berner, who all played an important role and did excellent work through this process. Thank you for all your hard work and for all of the time that you put into this very, very important initiative. Before I turn it over to Angus to provide remarks, I want to provide a brief update on the status of curriculum development. Our plan was to pilot the new K-4 curriculum with some school authorities this fall. Unfortunately, however, the COVID-19 pandemic has altered our timeline. Additionally, we have heard from our partners in the education system that they believe their focus needs to be on a successful school reentry for our students as they return to in-person schooling for the first time since March, and we absolutely agree. As a result, we are adjusting our curriculum timelines and expanding the first phase of the pilot. Starting in September 2021, we will be expanding the K-4 validation to include curriculum for grades 5 and 6. This means that for the 2021-2022 school year, the entire elementary school curriculum will be piloted or field tested in Alberta. At a minimum, we will begin the field testing of the new curriculum for grades 7 to 10 in September 2022. And we anticipate that all elementary age students will be learning from a new K-6 curriculum in that very same year. Albertans have long awaited a curriculum that focuses on the fundamentals of literacy, numeracy, and core knowledge, and I am pleased to say that our government is delivering on that expectation. I will now turn it over to Angus to provide remarks, and then we will be most happy to take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Minister. What the Minister said about Dr. Young is absolutely true. She kept after us ceaselessly during the whole curriculum panel meetings. I'm delighted to be here this morning, Madam Minister, because I, as a former teacher, and still am, because I had to speak to somebody quite severely yesterday who wasn't masking properly at Keels over at Southgate. And teachers have that opportunity, you see, because once you're a teacher forever. When people need instruction, you give it to them. I don't think she was pleased. I'm delighted with this new ministerial order, and I'm proud to have been chair of the advisory panel. What impresses me about it, and I am a small cog in this process, except to say that we heard from so many interest groups and so many Albertans that kept us informed and kept us wise, I hope. But one of the things I'm so pleased about is that, to me, there are two portals in education that if either falters, kids' education will falter and their work potential may falter. And those two portals are literacy and numeracy. Literacy and numeracy. And we think they're so important that they should be part of every subject that gets taught in school. Oh, I can hear people say, well, I went to university and became a history teacher. I teach history. I don't teach anything to do with literacy and numeracy. Not quite true in the future. All teachers will be teachers of literacy and numeracy. You can't do so many subjects if you can't read, think, compute, comprehend well. Those are essentials that we want for all Alberta students. We don't want any kids in Alberta left behind. And I read daily and hear daily when I watch and listen to the news. Many Albertans feel that in life they're being shortchanged in this province. We want that to end. We want equity and opportunity. We want equity and outcomes. We want equity and process in schools. So we need every single child. There are no exceptions. Every single Alberta child needs to be successful. We older people rely on the younger people to be well taught using a sterling curriculum that is crucial. And I feel hopeful that what the minister has signed today will in fact provide that for students. I think it's new. So this focus on literacy and numeracy, that's new. That has not been the case in the past. That is new, Minister. Thank you for signing that. Secondly, we want every Alberta student and their families to appear in the curriculum. We don't want any child, no matter where they are from, who they are, what language their family speaks, what ethnicity they are. We want every child to see themselves and their families in the curriculum. We don't want students to say, schooling appears to be about everybody else but me. This inclusive curriculum ministerial order includes all Albertans. Albertans with physical, other challenges, students who are Indigenous, Métis students, Francophone students, students who are LGBTQT. We want every student to say, I'm at home in our schools because the curriculum speaks to me, that includes me and respects me. We think it's crucial that all students learn who they are and where they come from. And that means they should be, as the minister said, they should be learning Alberta history. They should be learning Canadian history because we are part of Canada. And we should be learning world history sequentially. Not let's drop in on Friday and we'll study a little bit about Vietnam cooking. And next Monday we'll be in England. And on Thursday we're going to be in Saddle Lake Reserve out by St. Paul. We want students to have a sensible approach to learning history, and you can't do that unless you develop a sequential curriculum that allows students to understand one thing after another. If you don't know Magna Carta, you can hardly teach students their legal rights, because Magna Carta was one of the kingpins in determining for our country habeas corpus, which is a really important legal concept. Thirdly, we want students we want to focus on the character of students. I said to the minister the day I met her for the first time, I said, you can have a really bright young person graduate from high school and they get a job. And they're fast and they're quick and they know how to fill orders and they wait on customers. But if they steal you blind, are you sure you got a good one? So we want we want to teach students a certain reverence for honesty, integrity, perseverance, stick-to-itiveness. Better learn how to say that word. Resilience, respectfulness, and many other virtues that we think are important for students to possess. How many people here, and I don't wish to put down any industry in this country, but some people are nervous when they go to buy a used car. And it's possible that they think maybe they won't hear the whole truth and nothing but the truth about that car and its history. Well, we want every Albertan that we produce through our schools, along with their families. We want every young person who graduates from our schools to be the kind of person you'd want to be selling you a used car. because you can trust them. Education is for education's sake. Education is for lifelong learning. Education is for the development of the human being and our community and our cities and our province, rural and urban. But we also think students need to be exposed to workplace culture. This is not a curriculum that's over-focused on the workplace, but we believe that, and we've heard from employers, many of them dissatisfied that our students aren't sufficiently prepared for the world of work. And you know, there's something about the world of work, like you have to show up every day. Now, I have a young relative who went to work for the Gap. After 4 days, she asked for 3 weeks off. They laid her off. I thought, clearly this young person didn't understand the world of work culture. So we think all young people should be exposed to work culture. I'm delighted that we're moving away from discovery math and constructivism. I think it's high time that parents understand how to divide when your child comes home from school. This may have happened to you. Can you help me with my math homework? Oh, sure. That's not how my teacher does it. She thinks the way you divide 31 into 466 is wrong, because you remember we had this thing where it goes like this, and you have the 431 here, and you have the other number here, and then, well, it's become so it's become so constructivist that parents don't believe they can help their kids with schooling. Thank you for this opportunity, Minister. Dr. Young, Trans-Davies, thank you for your participation, and I appreciate it. Any questions later, please?
All right. I know we have a few people in the queue, so we will take one question and one follow-up from each reporter. So, moderator, could you please put forward the first caller?
Yes, the first question is from Janet French, CBC. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my question. I'm going to do a two-parter for the minister. First of all, I mean, there's lots of talk here about numeracy and literacy, but that was the actual foundation of the curriculum draft and the K-4 that already existed. So can you please explain to us, like, what is actually different now? And also, I'm just looking for some clarity on the curriculum writing process. Like, is K-4 now completely done, ready to go, sitting, waiting to be deployed into classrooms somewhere? It's just the pandemic that's causing the delay? Or and what about grades 5 through 9? Like, that was in the middle of being drafted. I've heard that it kind of wasn't going anywhere. What stage is that at? Is it approved? Have you signed off on it?
Thank you, Janet, for the questions. Your first question around what is different. What is different is we've gone away from the ideological bent that was in the previous curriculum that was designed. We heard that very strongly from parents. That was the view of parents that were out there when we were out at the doors campaigning, that was something that they wanted addressed when we got into office, and so we're absolutely addressing that and ensuring that the focus is on literacy and numeracy and so much more, including the financial literacy and all of the other elements that I spoke to. In regards to the K-4, the K-4 now through this ministerial order will have the new lens put on it, and we will be looking to enhance it. We will have subject matter experts looking at elements of enhancing that particular K-4 that's been drafted thus far. As well, we will involve the curriculum groups that were, the teacher curriculum groups that were previously involved. There were approximately 350 teachers involved in the development of the K-4 curriculum, and we will be in the fall having them put their lens on it as well to ensure that any gaps that have occurred, that we have a final draft that is complete and thorough and has been written in light of the new ministerial order, which is our visionary document. And in regards to the grades 5 and 6, my department has started to write that curriculum, and will again also be reaching out to the curriculum working group as well as subject matter experts to develop it, and we will then proceed on with the subsequent grades after that.
All right, perfect. Moderator, could you please put forward the next caller?
The next question is from Kevin Nimick, CTV Calgary.
Hi there. I have a question and a follow-up for Minister LaGrange. You mentioned bias in the current social studies curriculum. Can you cite one specific example of current bias and how it will be corrected?
Pardon me. Yes, in the curriculum, I had numerous parents send me evidence of bias that was being taught to their children, sometimes within an exam piece, and happy to provide that as follow-up information, and I will have my press secretary reach out to you with that. As far as how we will correct it, it's up to teachers to then put, they're the ones that are actually implementing the curriculum. They're the experts. They're the ones teaching it to our students. It's up to them to use their professional discipline to ensure that as they present curriculum to our students, that it is presented in a biased, fair way, putting out all aspects of a particular issue. And that, the expectation is that they will present it in that manner. And I have spoken to the Alberta Teachers Association on this point, and they're in agreement as well.
All right, and Kevin, you said you had a follow-up?
I sure do, but I didn't really get an answer to that question. What is the specific bias? Like you said, you'd send me something, but I'd like to get at least one topic that is biased out here publicly during this news conference. What is wrong with the social studies education that you want to correct?
There are the social studies, the way it's presented in certain classrooms by certain individual teachers. There have been actual examples of bias shown, and as I said, I would be happy to provide you specific examples of it. But again, they're specific to individual teachers that are utilizing the curriculum in a way that creates bias in the classroom. But again, it is something that through a very detailed curriculum that looks to avoid the opportunity for bias to be implemented in it, that we can get away from biases being put out there. So it certainly is something that that teachers are able to do to provide all aspects of a particular issue, and I look forward to that will actually take place.
Moderator, can you please put forward the next caller?
Ashley Joanno, Post Media.
Hi, good morning. I'm just going to piggyback a bit off of Janet's original question. It sounds to me like the K-4 curriculum isn't done yet, but I'm hoping you can provide us a bit of an actual timeline for when parents and teachers will actually get to see a copy of the K-4 curriculum that will be used.
I expect that a enhanced, finalized version of the K-4 curriculum will be in my hands by late fall, and that I will be able to put a copy online for all parents and teachers to see by early 2021, so January, February of 2021, and that we are looking to have that field tested by those school authorities that want to participate in the field testing by September 2021. So we will be field testing by September 2021 the K-6 curriculum.
And do you have a follow-up?
I wanted to, no, you know what, that's fine, thank you.
All right, moderator, could you please put forward the next caller?
Thank you. Safe Kaiser, 660 News.
Good morning, Ms. LaGrange. I actually want to follow up on the question asked to previous. I don't think it's necessarily fair for you to say you're changing part of the curriculum due to biases, but then refuse to publicly and clearly state at least one, if not all, of those biases or points of contention, and I have a follow-up.
Okay. So I guess, I can share some examples. One in particular is a parent that sent me an actual assessment where their child had to pick the correct answer, and the correct answer was contrary to, actually the truth of what is out there in terms of our environmental studies that are out there. So there's a number of things. Again, this is not the focus of what this ministerial order is doing. This ministerial order is not just addressing biases. This ministerial order is actually setting the blueprint for where our curriculum is going to go. It's both inspirational and aspirational. This is what we want our children to have, the skill set, as Angus was telling you earlier with his great passion, that we want our kids to be as prepared as possible for their life and to have a successful life. And so therefore, we want them to have all of these core knowledge pieces. We want them to have the skills that they need. We want to also have the attributes that they need to be successful in life. So all of these elements are the visionary piece of the ministerial order that will guide how we proceed forward with our curriculum.
Appreciate that, Ms. LaGrange. And I have a second question. I've asked you this before, but I've never received a clear-cut answer. Now, I've spoken with several parents. Some of them say they cannot send their kids back to school come September due to underlying health issues. Now, some of these people, they can't homeschool their kids. They either work full-time or might have, let's say, an education or a language barrier. So what do these people do when neither homeschooling or sending a kid back to class is reasonable, and there might also be money issues involved?
Right. So a very important question, and certainly something that all school divisions are working through right now. As I said in previous announcements, that while we have provided the health guidelines and the overarching structure for the reentry plan, it is now up to school divisions to address those localized needs. This is a localized need which needs a school to be very hands-on with that particular student, with that particular parent. They need to have that conversation with their local teacher, with their local school board, and come up with a plan that will work for that child. Because again, this, with 740,000 students roughly in this province, it is best for the local school board and the local teacher and school to address those individualized needs. They can do it best.
All right, and moderator, we have time for one last question, so could you please put forward our final caller?
Yes, Myrna Vukic, Radio Canada.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for taking my question. Minister, when the draft was put out in January, a lot of the Teachers Association and a lot of parents raised concerns about standardized testing starting very early and being very intense in the new curriculum. I was wondering if since then you've reconsidered this position and if you've had discussions with the ATA about that.
We are, obviously COVID has taken a lot of our time and our effort from the day that we announced to teacher-directed at-home learning. We started the work on developing a comprehensive reentry plan that contains all of our 3 scenarios. And as you know, we continue to refine that and work with our education partners to make sure that we have a successful and safe reentry. As far as assessments, as we develop the curriculum, we will be developing assessments alongside it. So they shouldn't be onerous. They should absolutely be in line with what is being taught and a clear reflection of what is being taught. So again, we will be, as we move forward, we will be having those conversations with the ATA and our other education partners. But right now, we are focused on just refining that curriculum and making sure that we get the absolute best curriculum possible before we go out to the public with it.
We have time for your follow-up if you have one.
Yeah, just to be clear, so far it's exactly the same draft as it was in January. It has not changed yet.
So far, we've been working on with some subject matter experts to look at, have we had any gaps? Now with the new ministerial order, we will put that lens on top as well to ensure that everything that has been developed thus far does comply with and align with our new ministerial order on student learning. So there has been some work done with subject matter experts, et cetera, but we will now take that next step and put it through the lens of the new ministerial order on student learning.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.